Hello, and this presentation is about how to apply for your post 9/11 GI Bill. The VA has actually made it a lot easier than what it used to be. So in your internet browser, go ahead and type in vets.gov, and it'll take you to this VA website. You're going to scroll down and click on Education Benefits. Application Process. And then you're going to go down to the green Select Correct Form. Now we're going to do post 9/11 for an individual who was a previous service member, is currently in the active duty. So we're going to say we're going to be applying for a new benefit and that we're using our own service. This national call to service is very uncommon. 9 times out of 10 you won't be in this category, and if you are, you'll know it. So you'll check, so the majority of you will select no. And then apply now. So this actually gets you to the right form, which should be the 22-1990 application for VA education benefits. That's the one that we're doing. Read as much as you want to, take your time, click on the links, get whatever additional information you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and go through the actual nuts and bolts of the process. So we're going to click on the Get Started, put in our first name, a social security number, your date of birth, anything with an asterisk is mandatory, so make sure you put that stuff in if you need it. So here's where it gets a little tricky. So once we get to this point, the 22-1990 actually allows you to apply for a bunch of different GI Bills. What we're doing today is the post 9/11. So you're going to click post 9/11, hit continue, and then it's going to ask you a question that's only actually asked for the post 9/11. If you are eligible for more than one GI Bill, you have to relinquish that GI Bill in order to use post 9/11. So if you paid into the Montgomery GI Bill, or if you're in the Guard or the Reserve and you have Chapter 1606, but you're also eligible for post 9/11, then you need to give up those GI Bills. Now if you didn't do any of that stuff and you just have the post 9/11, then you'll click I'm just eligible for post 9/11. But let's say you do have the Montgomery GI Bill and you want to give that up. It's going to say what date do you want this to be effective. It's automatically going to populate this cell with today's date. There's really no reason that you need to change that date to a different date unless you plan to use your Montgomery GI Bill before. So best case is just to leave it as it is with today's date and then just hit continue. Just understand that if you pick a future date, you will not be able to use that the post 9/11 GI Bill until that date. So that's why I recommend just leaving it at today's date. Branch of service. Whether you are active duty, a drilling reservist means that you're just a typical M-Day. If you're currently on IRR, whatever that status is. So we're going to say active. All this information, if you don't remember it, will be on your DD-214. Now, if you have multiple periods of active duty service, of active duty time, then you would add all those individual points, because that's really what calculates how much benefit you get, is your active duty time. So you want to put in as much as you possibly can. This should also all be reflected on your DD-214 or multiple DD-214s. If they're not, then you need to make sure that then the VA is going to ask you to prove your dates, your periods of service. So just make sure you're able to do that when you're applying for the GI Bill. So it's going to ask you, did you commission from a service academy? Are you on active duty now? If you didn't do anything in a service academy, you can just leave it blank. If you're not on active duty, you can hit no. If you hit yes, it'll ask you if you're on terminal leave. If you're not on terminal leave, it'll understand that if you're using the post 9/11 GI Bill while on active duty, you will not get the living stipend. If you're on terminal leave, then they're just assuming that you're on your way out, shouldn't be an issue, and you'll be good to go. So we're going to say we're not on active duty. They're going to ask you, were you in an ROTC program? Did you commission as an ROTC? This next block is if you paid up into any contributions for education benefits. Do you have a kicker or a college fund that you received when you enlisted and it's on your contract? Those are the things that you'll click here. Do you owe the DoD anything? Are you a DoD civilian employee? All those different questions. So read them. If you have questions on if you should be clicking yes or no, go ahead and contact our office. When did you graduate high school? So really this is more of a month and year type thing. So don't get too spin out over the day. Education after high school. So any college, university, community colleges or university that you went to after high school. This isn't counting your JST or CCAF stuff. This is just other colleges that you've been to or other technical schools that you've been to. You would put that information in here. So you'd put the name of the university, the state of the state, the periods that you were there, how many hours that you completed, whether they were semester, clock, or quarter, what the degree was. If you don't know what the degree was, you can just go ahead and put general. That's fine. And then you would keep adding all the different colleges that you have while you're in there by clicking add another. If you have any FAA certificates, you'll place those there. And now it's going to ask you for your employment history. Now listen to the question. If you have ever held a license or a journeyman's rating to practice a profession, so any industry certification. So if you're an IT person, you got a Security Plus or a CCNA. If you're in engineering and you have a project management professional. If you're an HVAC person, you've got HVAC certificates. Those are the types of things that they're looking for. So if you do, just click yes. You'll have an opportunity to put that stuff in. Before service, after service, and they'll actually ask you for the numbers of month works and your licenses or your rating. School. All right, so this is where you kind of put down where you want to go. Now I'm putting it down as if we're going to Western. So if you're coming to Western, you'll put down college or university, type in the name of the school, our address is 1903 West Michigan Ave, because Western was actually founded in 1903. So Kalamazoo 49008. Here they just want to know, what are you coming here for? So what pretty much this is what you want to be when you grow up. So I'm coming to, let's say Buster Bronco is coming to Western to do sociology so he can go on to be a lawyer. And then you put down the day that your training will start. And for this particular time frame, that's when the next semester starts for us here at Western. So it's going to ask you, how would you like the VA to contact you? By mail, phone, or email? The address that you're putting in here will be the address that the VA was going to send you your certificate of eligibility. So make sure it's an address that you can get to. If it's your parents' address and they live in another state, that's kind of not what we're looking for here. It's not really a home of record type address. It's more of a, we need to mail you stuff, where can we mail it to type of address. All right, get your emails in there. Telephone numbers, you can put those down if you want to, but unless you say that you want them to contact you by phone, these are not required. Nope. Learn how to spell. Now, your secondary contact is not a required field. So if you don't want to leave a secondary contact, you don't have to. If you do, go ahead and mark it down. No big deal. It doesn't keep you from getting the benefit. All right, direct deposit. Your living stipend and your book stipend will come directly to you to whatever account you set up in this direct deposit part of the application. Your tuition will get paid directly to the school. So you'll notice your tuition being paid when you look at your student account. At the beginning of the semester, you're always going to get a bill. And the bill is going to be for the full amount of the cost of the semester, and it's not going to have anything on there about your GI Bill benefits. You'll see that online on your student account when it pays. My recommendation is to set up a direct deposit. Going the other route is just a little longer. Your money doesn't get there as quickly, and it just makes everything a whole lot easier. So select whether you want your money to go into a checking or a savings account. Put in an account number and a routing number. Once you're done, you'll get an opportunity to go through the sections and check to make sure everything's okay. If you mistype something or the wrong information is in there, you just click edit and you go back to that section and fix it. Now mine is a bare bones, yours will have more information in it. And always double and triple check your account numbers and routing numbers. When you're done, you'll hit the checkbox and then you'll submit application. Once you submit your application, you'll see another page that comes up that'll give you a confirmation that your application has been submitted. On that application, on that page will also be a confirmation number. So you can print that page, take a picture of it, write it down, whatever you need to, but make sure you have that confirmation number for additional reference when you need to contact the VA. Once you hit submit, the paperwork goes to the VA. The VA contacts DOD to make sure you have the appropriate active duty time to receive the benefit. From what the DOD tells the VA on how much active duty time you have is what the VA will award you given for the GI Bill steps, whether it's 90 days of active duty time for 40% or 36 months or more for 100%. Then they'll send you one of 4 letters. The first one is, we're sorry you do not receive the benefit and here's why. And once we know why, we can actually appeal. The second one is, we have your application but we're missing a document. Please send us document X. The third one is, and this is the most typical one, we have your application, we're sorry it's taken so long, we're backlogged. And usually about a week or 2 after that, you'll get your certificate of eligibility. We need, or your school needs, a copy of that certificate of eligibility. If you have any other questions on how to fill out the application for post 9/11, or if you want to make an appointment to come in and sit down in our office and do it in a face-to-face format, we'll be more than happy to do so. Just click on the directory button here on the website and look up either myself, the military advocate, or the recruiter, and we can set you up with an appointment.